The first scream didn't come from Mutsa. It came from the crowd. A sharp, shocked gasp that rippled through the white-draped wedding hall like a sudden storm tearing through calm skies. The music had just faded. The vows had just been spoken. The rings, still trembling between fingers, had not yet settled. And then everything shattered. Mutsa stood at the altar, frozen, 23 years old, radiant in a flowing white gown that hugged her waist and cascaded down like soft waves. Her skin glowed under the golden chandeliers. Her eyes shimmered with tears, not yet fallen but already forming. Across from her stood Ashidu, a respected pastor, calm, collected, known for his powerful sermons, his discipline, and his unwavering moral code. But right now, he looked like a man fighting a war inside his own chest. The officiant smiled nervously, trying to push the ceremony forward. "Do you, Ashidu, take Mutsa to be your lawfully wedded?" "No." The word hit like a gunshot. Silence. Utter, deafening silence. Mutsa blinked. "What?" Her voice cracked, barely audible. "I said no," Ashidu repeated, louder this time. His jaw tightened. His eyes hardened. "I cannot marry you." A murmur exploded across the room. Her bridesmaids exchanged terrified glances. Her mother's hands flew to her mouth. Phones quietly began recording. Mutsa shook her head, stepping closer. "Ashidu, what are you saying? This isn't funny." "You lied to me." Those 4 words cut deeper than any blade. Her breath caught. "I didn't lie." "You have a child, Mutsa." Gasps. Louder this time. "You have a child," Ashidu continued, his voice rising with emotion. "And not just with anyone, but with a criminal." Tears spilled down her cheeks now. "I was going to tell you." "With a mafia boss," he snapped. "A Korean mafia boss named Ueli." The name echoed like thunder. Some guests stood up. Others whispered wildly. The once elegant wedding had turned into a public trial. Mutsa's knees weakened. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I have a child, but that was before you, before us." "And you thought that didn't matter." Ashida's voice cracked now, pain creeping in. "You thought you could build a life with me, a man of God, on a foundation of secrets." "I was afraid," she cried. "Afraid you'd leave me. Afraid you'd judge me like this." "And you were right." Those words crushed her. "I cannot do this," Ashidu said, stepping back. "I cannot raise another man's child, especially the child of someone like him." Mutsa reached for him desperately. "Please don't do this to me, not here, not today." But Ashidu had already turned away. The sound of his footsteps echoed through the hall as he walked out, leaving behind the broken pieces of a dream that had taken years to build. Mutsa collapsed to the ground, her wedding dress pooling around her like spilled milk, her sobs filling the silence he left behind. And just like that, the wedding became a nightmare she would never forget. Days passed, but for Mutsa, time felt like it had stopped. She stayed inside her small house, curtains drawn, phone switched off. The wedding video had already gone viral. Everyone had seen it. Everyone had an opinion. The girl who got rejected at the altar. The pastor who exposed her. The mafia connection. Her name was everywhere. And shame, it followed her like a shadow. Her child, a quiet little boy, sat beside her one evening, playing with a toy car on the floor. "Mama, why are you always crying?" Mutsa turned away, wiping her face. "I'm okay, my love." But she wasn't. Not even close. Meanwhile, Ashita tried to move on. He buried himself in church work. Preaching, counseling, praying. But peace? It never came. At night, he saw her face. The way she looked at him, broken, desperate, humiliated. He told himself he had done the right thing. He told himself it was about truth, about principles. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Then one night, everything changed. Ashidu was walking home after evening prayers when a black car pulled up beside him. Slow, silent. The window rolled down, and a man stepped out. Tall, composed, dressed in a dark coat that seemed to absorb the streetlight. His presence alone felt dangerous. "Pastor Ashidu," the man said calmly. Ashidu frowned. "Who are you?" The man stepped closer. "My name is Ueli." The air shifted. Ashidu's heart skipped. So this was him. The man who had shattered everything. "What do you want?" Ashidu asked cautiously. Ueli studied him for a moment. Then he spoke. "You will marry Mutsa." Ashidu almost laughed. "Excuse me." "You heard me." "No," Ashita said firmly. "I already made my decision." Ueli's expression didn't change. "I am not asking." And I am not agreeing, Ashita replied. You think you can just show up and control people's lives. Ueli stepped closer. His voice dropped. I don't want my son growing up like me. That caught Ashita off guard. I have enemies, Ueli continued. Blood on my hands. A life filled with violence. That is not the future I want for him. And you think forcing me will fix that? Ashita asked. I think you are the only man who can give him a better life. Silence. Tension hung thick between them. I won't do it, Ashita said finally. Ueli nodded slowly. Then I will come back. He did. A second time. This time less patient. They met in Ashita's office. You are running out of chances, Ueli said calmly. This isn't a negotiation, Ashita replied. You can't threaten me into becoming a husband and a father. Ueli leaned forward. I can do much worse than threaten. Ashita held his ground. I am a man of God. I fear no man. Ueli smiled faintly. Everyone fears something. He stood up. I will return. The third time. There was no calm. No patience. No polite conversation. Ueli didn't come alone. Black cars lined the street outside the church. Men stood silently watching. Ashita stepped outside and saw him. Waiting. Like a storm that had finally arrived. This is your last chance, Ueli said. You're insane, Ashita replied. You think this is love? This is control. No, Ueli said. This is responsibility. He stepped closer. If you walk away again, I will not be so understanding. The threat was clear, but something else was in his eyes too. Desperation. Real raw desperation. I don't want my son to become me, Ueli said quietly. And you are the only man I trust to stop that. Ashita hesitated. For the first time, he saw the truth behind the fear. This wasn't just a mafia boss. This was a father trying to fix something he had already broken. That night, Ashita couldn't sleep. He thought about Mutsa, about the humiliation, about the child, an innocent life caught in the middle of everything. He thought about his sermons, about forgiveness, about grace, about doing what is right, even when it's hard. And slowly, his answer began to change. The next morning, he went to Mutsa's house. She opened the door and froze. Ashita. Her voice trembled. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. I'm sorry, he said. The words hit her like a wave. I shouldn't have left you like that, not in front of everyone. She shook her head. You had every right. No, he interrupted. I had a choice and I chose wrong. Silence. I can't change the past, he continued. But I can choose what to do now. Her heart pounded. What are you saying? Ashita looked at her, then at the child standing behind her. And finally, he said it. I will marry you. Mutsa broke down. Not out of joy, not out of relief, but out of something deeper. A mixture of pain, forgiveness, and hope. The wedding was small this time. No crowd, no cameras, no pressure. Just two people, choosing to try again. And somewhere in the distance, a black car watched quietly. Ueli sat inside, expression unreadable. As the ceremony ended, he nodded once. Then the car drove away, back into the shadows, back into the life he knew. Months passed. Life slowly found its rhythm. Ashita became a father, not by blood, but by choice. And that made all the difference. The child began to smile more. Mutsa began to heal. And Ashita, he finally found peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because he chose compassion over judgment. As for Ueli, he disappeared back into the underworld. Rumors spread. Deals. Power. Violence. But one thing was certain. He never came back. Because deep down, he knew he had already done the one good thing that mattered most. He gave his son a chance. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything.